Hello. Welcome to my channel. We're getting fancy and now have a microphone, so big things. It's been a minute since I did one of these things, but I'm doing a little, not little, it's kind of long, 2024 recap of all the books that I read, even though almost a month into 2025. We're doing a little 2024 roundup. It was kind of a bummer of a year as far as books. For me, I didn't have a lot of really good books. I feel like in this month already I've had more books that I've enjoyed than all of 2024. So we'll do a quick as I can, roundup of everything, see if I actually remember some of these books. But I'll get into it. Just gotta pull up my little book log. And we'll see. From what I remember though, didn't like a whole lot of them. They were just kind of boring for me. But I think I started off with the Heartless, I think that's what they were called. Yeah, Heartless by Elsie Silver. I did a bunch of those in that series that was the kind of rodeo-y romance. They were good. They were easy, quick reads. So I did Heartless, Powerless, Hopeless, Reckless, 4 of those right off the bat last year. And they were easy, quick. I enjoyed them, but nothing crazy. They weren't the best books I ever read, but they were easy, quick, romance books. Then I read Caraval, that fantasy book. Not good. It was a struggle to get through. I'm trying to convince my sister to not read it because that's her first fantasy book that she's reading, and I just don't think that's a good fantasy to dip your toe into that pool. For me, didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. It was very boring. I don't know. For some reason, I just really, really did not like that book. Then I read The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I don't remember a whole lot about that book. I feel like it was just okay. One of those kind of mystery, thrillery kind of books that are, at the end of the day, all the same for me. So nothing crazy. The Bees by Laline Paul. Did not like this book. I really wanted to like it because it was supposed to be a book from bee's perspective, like a worker bee, I think. It was very, again, kind of boring. I had to push through, wasn't a fan. I read Iron Flame, which I did enjoy. Rebecca Yarros, right? Yeah. I enjoy those books. They're, again, quick, easy fantasy, even though they're kind of longer. Looking forward to the Onyx, whatever it's called, that just came out. I'm not obsessed like a lot of people seem to be that I keep seeing, but it was good. I really liked it. Pucking Around, accidental read, don't recommend it. We're moving on. How to Choose a Guy in 10 Days was the next book I read. It was, again, one of those those romance books that are all exactly the same, comforting in that way. You know what you're getting into. It's just something to turn your mind off. I read The Fury. That was one of my book of the month books. It was Agatha Christie, kind of a lot of characters, mystery, murdery. I wasn't a fan too much. It's one of those unreliable narrator situations that bother me. They kind of get under my skin. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, very good. It was properly hyped. I enjoyed that book a lot. I read The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. From reviews and Instagram and all those, they said it was Gilmore Girls mixed with practical magic. And so I was like, oh, perfect. Love them both. They'll be good. Not the case. I didn't enjoy it. It was another one that I was let down, and I had to push through, but I finished it. I don't know why they said it was those, because it wasn't. I love a witchy book, but that was nothing for me. Then I read Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. She always knocks it out of the park. That was really good. About a family in Alaska. It was good. She never misses. Just love her books. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I read that by Axio. I had that on my Libby want to read list or whatever. I was on a wait list for forever, and I finally got it, and that is one that I really enjoyed too. It was like an old tale, I think, remade. It was really good. Highly recommend that one. Girl in the Snow was another one I read. I had a couple of duds in a row after that. Girl in the Snow and The Doll Factory. Both were just fine. I wasn't into either of them. They weren't bad books, but boring to me. The Mayor of Maxwell Street, another book of the month book, that was just fine. I wasn't obsessed with it, but I didn't hate it. Then I read The Heartless Hunter, which was, again, book of the month. But I enjoyed that one. It was an easy fantasy about a witch hunter, so I highly recommend that one. And I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to read another one of her books. So then I got Edgewood, but that was not good. I didn't realize it was a current day kind of fantasy, which it kind of weirds me out. The cell phones and fantasy just takes me out of it. Wasn't a fan. Then let's see, what else did I read next? Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. That was a funny, quick read. I really enjoyed that book. I like little comedy, murdery books are enjoyable. Then Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. It was good. It gave me 10th grade English vibes. I feel like that's something that they're gonna start putting in schools to read. I don't know why. It just had that kind of vibe for me. Something that people would make you study all the different meanings and details and things. From there, after many, many moons of waiting, I got the full book of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass. All of them in one library book, so I had 2 weeks to read, 7, 8 books. So I spent the next good bit reading all of that. So I did The Assassin's Blade. I read that first. I know that's controversial, but I did. I think it was a good call because even though you don't know the characters very well, from it, you get more out of the books when you meet them throughout. My opinion, read it first. So then, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, blah, blah, blah. Read them all. They were good. I liked them. Hated the Tower of Dawn, though. That was a real bummer of a book. Don't know why she dedicated a whole book to him because don't even remember his name. Cole, whatever. Boring. Very boring. Especially when you have 2 weeks to read them all and you're stuck on this one. Didn't love it. But that's fine. It was a developing story, so I get it. But I think in between all of those, just because my brain was overload, I read Elisa Jewell, None of This Is True. To be honest, no memory of that book. But it's Elisa Jewell, so I imagine it was fine. I don't even know if I rated it on Goodreads, which I have a trouble of doing. But I imagine it was fine. It was a Elisa Jewell book. They're all okay. And then I read Megan Fox's book, Pretty Boys Are Poisonous. Just her poems. And I get it's a poem book and it's very short, but I read like 7 or 8 or 900 page books, so I think it's fine to count it as a book that I read because I did read it. But it was good. It was Megan Fox, so I love her. Next, after all of those Sarah J. Maas books, I read If He Had Been With Me. That one I did shed some tears over. I was a little sad. I knew what was going to happen, but that book got me. That one was sad. Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses. Terrible. I knew it was terrible going in. My sister gave it to me to read because she thought it was terrible. She wasn't wrong. A Fate Inked in Blood. It was good. Norse, Viking. I talked about all these in another video that I did. Same interesting facts about space. Boring. Didn't like it. Butcher and Blackbird. Good. I really enjoyed that one. That was funny and good. And then I read the Leather and Lark, the second one. Not as good. Did not hold up to the first one at all. Then another couple of duds with the Couple in 5B. Kind of boring. Not good. Assistant to the Villain. Terrible. The worst. Wish I never read it. Darling Girls. I really enjoyed that one. Again, I talked about it in another video. It was good. I enjoyed that one. Friend Zone. Abby Jimenez. You know what you're getting. It's going to be good. It's going to be romance. It's going to be some little comedy-ish things in there. So that was good too. Then I read a couple of the Disney kind of stories that turn into kind of the villain-esque era, whatever. Scarred, Wretched, and Crossed. They were all okay. Crossed actually was not okay. That was terrible. That was like a Hunchback of Notre Dame. Did not like that one. Scarred was good though. That was the Lion King one. I did like that. A Sweet Sting of Salt by Rose Sutherland. That was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. Highly recommend that. Last Seen Alive, Last One to Die. Both of those, no memory. No, I do have a memory of Last One to Die. That was boring. Did not like that one at all, but Last Seen Alive, I don't really remember. That's bad. I probably should remember these. But I feel like if I don't remember it, it was just fine. I remember the ones that I really liked or I really didn't like. If it's just fine, I forget you. Sorry. Little Monsters was one that I had seen somewhere and I had it on my been on the wait list for months and months, and I finally got it and I was so disappointed. It was not very good and it ended weird and it had a lot of political stuff that didn't have any relevance, but it tried to, and it was kind of a bummer that it was kind of bad. Again, another Abby Jimenez, yours truly. Nothing bad to say. It was good. It was fine. Then I read A Little Life, which very sad, but very good. Tears were shed. That put me in a huge book slump after that because I was depressed from that book, honestly. But it was very good and I recommend it to everybody. If you have the time, because it's long, read it. Never Lie was next. I needed some quick, easy to get out of that book slump after A Little Life. So I read a Frida McFadden which it's going to be fine. It's going to be a thriller. It's going to be quick to read. So I did that. Didn't help my book slump. So then I got One Hot Italian Summer because the book lady recommended it. She said it was good, and I don't trust her opinion anymore because I didn't like it. And then Bridgerton came out with the next season, so then I was like needing more Bridgerton, and so I read The Other Miss Bridgerton and First Comes Scandal to try and get more of that life, because all the other Bridgerton books were on an insane wait list at the library, so I couldn't read those again. Picked up again another Abby Jimenez with Just for the Summer. It was good. I like that all her books kind of, not all of them, but they all like tie together loosely. It's just kind of fun. Hello Girls and Emily Henry like co-authored book. It was kind of Thelma and Louise-y. I did like that one. It was I think more of like a YA kind of book, but I did enjoy it. Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. That was very good. It was funny. I think I like laughed out loud a few times, which is always fun in a book. Five Broken Blades was kind of okay. It was a book of the month book, like a fantasy adventure kind of thing. A bunch of characters that come together at the end. It took a long time to get into. Very boring at first, but it picked up and it was better at the end. Let's see, I'm like halfway through everything that I read. On rotation, I think I listened to this one and it was kind of boring. I listened to it almost at like 1.75 because it was just dragging on. The Return of Ellie Black, that was really good. I did enjoy that. It's kind of one of those similar like A Girl Goes Missing or kind of thrillery books that tend to feel the same, but it was one that I enjoyed. Then I read like 2 romance books right in a row that were fine. They are what they are. The Nanny and Kilt Trip. They are what they are. Whatever. A Deadly Inside Scoop. That was a cozy mystery. And I think from that I learned I am not a cozy reader because they're boring. They've got not a whole lot going on and yeah, not a fan. Nothing happened and it was boring. Husbands and Lovers, that was one that I read from Book of the Month. It was okay. There was like 2 storylines being read. I really liked one. The other didn't have a whole lot going on. So that was good in bits and boring in bits. But it's fine. Emily Henry, funny story. It's Emily Henry. You know what you're getting. It was fine. It was good. She and Abby Jimenez they're the same for me. Like, it's going to be a fine story. Like, you're not going to be disappointed, but it's not going to be the best book you ever read for me, in my opinion. The Wife Between Us, that was one that was giving like the Silent Patient vibes. I thought it was going to be way more at the beginning I thought there was going to be like a scary mystery element, thrillery, but it was just kind of fell flat after that. The Paradise Problem, another romance. You know what's going to happen. It's fine. Those are all the same. Then The Safest Lies. That was a good, quick one. I think I listened to that one. But it was a good little mystery kind of book. I started Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And I did that book. And then I read the next one, whatever it was, The House of Sky and Breath. Those were better than I thought. I didn't know anything going into those books. And especially after coming off of the the Throne of Glass series, because I had read her other series the year before. I wasn't sure what to expect because I know, they all live in the same kind of, creatures, fantasy, whatever. But I didn't realize it was more of like a present day fantasy, that because I really didn't like Edgewood because of that. But this I actually didn't mind, and I had no idea about the series going into it, like I said. But as I was reading it, I enjoyed the first book. The second book I didn't like as much. I started the third, but I got like 200 pages in, and I haven't been able to finish it quite yet. And it returned from my library because I was taking so long. But it's one that I personally don't read the back of the book or the inside of the jacket, wherever the description is, before I read a book, because I feel like it gives away so much. And that's one where didn't read it, didn't know anything about it, just knew it was the same author. But I was shocked at what happened, 50 pages in. And then I was almost done with the book, and then I just read the description of the book, and all of that happened in the description. And I was like, you can just skip the first 50 pages because the description told you everything. So don't read descriptions. That is my words of wisdom from myself, because I feel like it gives away so much. I read An Appalachian Nightmare, which is by my best friend's brother. He wrote his first book, Cole Barnhill. So go read it. It's giving like West Wing vibes. Go read it. It's fun that he wrote a book, and I know an author now. And then I read another cozy, it was a cozy fantasy. I tried my hand at another cozy book because it was hyped up a lot. Like, I saw a lot of people talking about this book, Legends and Lattes. It was fine, but again, I'm not a cozy reader. I don't think I like them. I'll keep trying. Maybe I'll find one that I like. But so far, cozy mystery and cozy fantasy are not for me. The Unwedding was fine. It's like all the other kind of people on an island, someone's murdered. It all feels the same. It was fine though. Then I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation, and I really enjoyed that book. It was depressing, but good. I thought it was decent, and I liked it a lot, actually. Then I read another romance book, Fall Into You. It was coming on, I think, September, so I wanted something fall-y. And all my other fall books were on a wait list at the library, so that's why I got that one, and it was fine. Lights Out was a dark romance. It was good. I enjoyed it. Then another surprise, Abby Jimenez, the Ever After playlist. I really blame my sister for this because I didn't used to read these kinds of books, but she's obsessed with those kinds of books, and I get books from her, and it's turned me into someone who reads romance books. What can you do? I tried my hand at a little self-help book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I didn't feel self-helped. I didn't feel helped at all. It was I don't know what you're supposed to get out of that book, but I didn't get it. So The Ex-Hex was a little like witchy book that I actually enjoyed. I was waiting for another book that I had on a wait list for forever, The Secret Society of Irregular Witches, but I was on like months down the road. I didn't even end up reading it until like this month, January. So the X-Hex was what I had in place to get that kind of fall witchy vibes. And it was fine. It was good. I got what I needed out of it. Blue Sisters, another book of the month. It was good. I enjoyed it. It had the storyline of three sisters after one passes away. But it was good. And then I read Tom Felton's autobiography. I actually listened to that one. I enjoy listening to celebrity autobiographies when they read them. And that was funny. I didn't realize he was in The Borrowers, which I was obsessed with when I was little. It was just nice kind of hearing about his life and what he's done, Harry Potter and beyond that. Another Frida McFadden, The Boyfriend. I read another one of her that was, fine. Her short story. I was at that point kind of trying to read quicker books because I had a goal of 100 books because I read, I think, like 104 or 5 the year before, and I wanted to hit that. So, Frida McFadden it was, and I read her short story after The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie. It was kind of giving like that like Kristen Bell show, that show on Netflix. It's like the woman in the window across the street from the girl in the house, or whatever it was. It's kind of that same vibe, like kind of a spoofy, jokey take on mystery thriller books. So it was kind of a funny, quick read. Another Ann Patchett, Commonwealth. I didn't like it as much as Tom Lake, but it was still good. But I like Tom Lake better if I was comparing the two. I read The Devil Wears Scrubs. Was that Frida McFadden too? It was okay. The ending kind of like was quick and not what I expected it to be. It was fine. Frida McFadden, what can you do? A Dark and Secret Magic. To be honest, not a little bit of memory of what that book was. I couldn't tell you at all. I rated it 3 stars, which is surprising, but yeah, I'm reading it. It says practical magic-esque. I feel like every witchy book says that to get people to read it, but it's not always the case because they don't always feel like practical magic. But it's fine. Whatever. 3 stars. 3 stars. Then Evie Drake starts over. It's fine. Quick, easy. I felt like I actually forgot that I read it before. I was like halfway through and I was like, wait a second. I've actually read this book. I read it like a few years before. So one that you can reread because you forget what it's about. At least if you're me. The next book I read was Home is Where the Bodies Are. That was good. I did enjoy that one a lot as well. It's just another quick, easy one. Done and Dusted. That was one I listened to on a car trip. So that was something easy to listen to. It's fine. Another like rodeo-y kind of book. Romance. Couple more romances in a row after that. In a Holidays and Love on Deck. Exactly what you'd expect in a romance book. They're fine. My husband's grandma told me to read Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe. So I got that in from the library and I read that one. It was good. It was a good like book. A little bit of magic, a little bit of baking. It was good, From there, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. That was one that was a nice little kind of Agatha Christie, but Christmassy. and a little bit of romance tied in, but it was good. And let's see what else. The Book Swap, that was fine. Nothing special. I listened to a C.S. Lewis, The Magician's Nephew, in the car on a road trip. It's The Magician's Nephew. It's the Chronicles of Narnia. It's good. You can't get mad at it. One Day in December. I've had that book on my shelf for a long, long time, and I finally read it. I really enjoyed it. It was one that I read pretty quickly, but it was very good. I was holding off until I could read it in like wintry, Christmassy time, and I always kept forgetting, and I would put it off until the next year, and finally I picked it up right at the right time, so I'm glad I read it. It was good. The Dilemma, that was one that my dad had read before me, and he gave it to me. I read it really quick. It was fine. Just a little bit of like anxiety because you're waiting for people just to talk to each other, and if they had just told people what was going on, there would not be a book. So kind of anxiety in that realm. The last book I read, let's see. Oh no, I read 2 more books after that. Nearing the end of the year, I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I enjoyed that one a lot. Again, a very quick, easy read, but I thought it was really good. And then there's that show on Netflix with it, so it was kind of nice, and I feel like it followed it pretty well. So kind of enjoyable when shows actually follow the book. So I did enjoy that as well. And then Strange Sally Diamond, which again, I've been on a wait list for months and months from the library. Finally got it, and that was really good. Kind of an odd one, but very, very good. So at least I ended the year with a couple of good ones in a row. So all in all, had a few really good books. I think A Little Life was the best book I had read last year. A lot of ones in last place, I think, but that's fine. Like I said, this year I've already read like 4 or 5 really good books, so at least book-wise, things are on the up and up. So yeah, that was my not so short 2024 book roundup. My goal is 100 books again this year. Hopefully I remember more of them and they're not boring. We'll see. Like I said, it's looking like it will be the case. But thank you for watching. Goodbye.